Keep you smiling mile after mile. Choose your favorite model and give us a call. We will answer all your questions. Contact us today on 017-492-0166 to get a quote. We don't only deliver nationwide, but right to your door. Bake Ermelo, a new member of the Dockrack Group.
The Breakfast Rush, brought to you courtesy of the Willowton Group, at the forefront of innovation, and one of the leading competitors in the South African FMCG market.
There's nothing quite like the taste of a traditional family meal, and every great dish is a key ingredient that brings it all together. That ingredient is Sunfoil pure sunflower cooking oil, made from only the finest sunflower seeds. It's a perfect way to enhance the taste of your family's favorite foods. Sunfoil cooking oil is more than just oil. It's the key to bring your family together over a delicious meal and making every bite taste better. Remember, the key ingredient to a great family meal is Sunfoil. Tradition just tastes better.
With 49 years in the motoring industry, Metro Car Sales has been proudly serving you since 1976. Need a great deal on your next car? We've got you covered. We offer in-house finance arranged in 1 hour. So, what are you waiting for? Call us now on 033 3942 595. Visit us today at number 1 Boshoff Street, Pietermaritzburg. You can also check out our amazing deals online at www.metrocars.co.za. Sales, your number 1 dealer in wheels.
DIY or big projects? Hyper Hardware has you covered. Visit us in Shop 14 Florence Nightingale Drive, Chatsworth, or online at hyperhardware.co.za. Quality you can trust.
The views and opinions expressed by the guest and presenters of Radio Al Ansar are not necessarily the views and opinions of Radio Al Ansar and the Al Ansar Foundation.
The Breakfast Rush, brought to you courtesy of the Willowton Group, at the forefront of innovation, and one of the leading competitors in the South African FMCG market.
7:13 a.m. this beautiful morning in KZN. Assalamu alaikum to you. If you've just switched on, jumped into your car, switched the radio on, or maybe you're watching on YouTube or on Facebook, good to have you there. If you are on our social media, look down, find the share button, click on it, and share this interview, this discussion with everybody on your list. It's an important topic that we're discussing today. Increased unemployment rate here in South Africa. So South Africa's unemployment rate has climbed again, now sitting at 32.9% in the first quarter of 2025. The latest data paints a grim picture for job seekers as employment figures continue to fall. According to Stats SA's quarterly labor force survey, the number of employed people dropped by 291,000 between the fourth quarter of 2024 and the first quarter of 2025. Joining us on the line and on video this morning is Cosatu's Parliamentary Coordinator, Mathew Parks. Mr. Parks, good morning and welcome back to the Breakfast Rush on Radio Al Ansar.
Good morning. Thanks for having us.
Always a pleasure speaking with you. The official unemployment rate has jumped to 32.9%, and the expanded rate now stands at a staggering 43.1%. What is Cosatu's initial reaction to these latest statistics?
Well, I mean, I think the first one is that this is for quarter one of the year. So that's the first quarter of this year. There's always a slight decrease in jobs after the last quarter of the year because over December you have the festive season, people go on holiday, the retail, the hospitality sector often hire quite a few temporary jobs to handle the infusion of people to beaches in Durban, people going shopping and so forth. So it is a bit of a perverse thing that you do well in December and then back to school in January. So it is a bit of an anticlimax. But I think we still need to be quite alarmed. The expanded definition of unemployment has increased to 43.1%. So including people who have kind of just given up looking for work, but who would love to have a job. Youth unemployment about 72%. That is something that should give everybody sleepless nights. And I think for us, just having lost 290,000 jobs, that's just deeply distressing. And it really should be yet another wake-up call for government, for employers, for society, that we can't continue to do things business as usual, given such a massive existential crisis to the nation.
Now, over 291,000 jobs were lost between the last quarter of 2024 and the first quarter of 2025. What does this tell us about the health of the South African labour market?
Look, I think there's no way of putting perfume on it. We're in deep trouble. You can't celebrate a society where 4 out of 10 South Africans can't find work, 7 out of 10 young people can't find work. That is a ticking time bomb. We're not going to make progress on any of our other socioeconomic challenges of poverty, of inequality, of crime, and so forth, if we don't arrest that situation. We've got to get the economy growing. We've got to fix the state to ensure that it can provide the public services, municipal services, that the economy, the businesses are required to take off. We've really got to reassess how we give support to the economy, how we inject stimulus, whether it's making sure the infrastructure program is rolled out, it's expedited, whether it's actually mobilizing financial support, credit, be it public or be it private, to SMEs, to industrial sectors, to export sectors, because 4 out of 10 South Africans can't find work. Really, that is just an absolute disaster. There's no way of spinning that one.
Absolutely. Tell us, what are the underlying structural problems Cosatu believes are driving continued job losses in South Africa?
Look, I think first is the basics, but the basics are big. So we've had progress around overcoming load shedding. It's excellent, but we need to make sure electricity is affordable. Right now, it's just become so expensive the last 2 decades that industries just can't afford it. We've got to make sure that Transnet can be fully operational. It transports less goods today than it did in '94, yet the economy has doubled in size. And if you get a Transnet being fully efficient, mining, manufacturing, agriculture can take off. We've got to get the mining rights application system working to attract investment, because our mining industry has not attracted investment in years and years. We've got to make sure Metro Rail is fully operational, because that transports 10 million commuters, mostly workers, in our cities. So if Metro Rail is fully operational, workers can get to work on time. If you boost workplace productivity. I think a more complicated one is the issue of local government. You see many rural towns, it is collapsing. We're now seeing in cities like Joburg, eThekwini, etc., Nelson Mandela Bay, where it's under extreme pressure. And if you don't get those things right, then it's difficult for industries or businesses to operate. But if you do get them right, those combined should take us to 3% GDP growth. If we can really be creative and be bold, get a mass industrial financing program in place, that can really help unlock SMEs. And whilst we do those, deep structural obstacles to growing the economy, we do need to also expand public employment programs, include the private sector, really ramp up internship, artisanship programs for young people, because normally the first job is the most difficult one to get. Once you've got that job, you've had it for a year, 2 years, you've gathered the experience, the training, the skills, the confidence to enter the labor market. That's critical. For the past couple of years, Treasury was cutting those employment programs for complete madness. But we hope in this budget we'll see them retain what they had in the 2 previous drafts of the budget, a significant ramping up of it. So I think for us, we have to treat it like COVID-19. It has to be a government, business and labor, society-wide campaign. We've got to treat it as a national threat. And if we think we can turn things around the next year, 2 years. But what we can't do is continue as is and expect different results.
As a final question for this morning, youth unemployment remains extremely high, with 24% of university graduates now jobless. What does this say about the country's education to employment pipeline?
It speaks that our education, whether it's the schools or our TVET colleges or CETAs or universities, are not speaking to the needs of the economy. They're not speaking to the types of skills that employers require. That's for the jobs of today, but also we must look at the jobs of tomorrow as well, because the nature of work is evolving rapidly. But it makes no sense that employers can cry, for example, that we have a shortage of sheep shearers or long-distance truck drivers, skills which are not that difficult to learn. Yet you go to any township, there's thousands of young people who are just desperate to earn a salary. And we see as a consequence, many employers hiring migrant labor from neighboring countries, undocumented, to exploit their desperation, to undermine the labor laws. And that's creating a ticking time bomb. We really need to make sure we prioritize local young people for restaurants, for petrol stations, for farms, for construction sites, etc. We've got to absorb young people into the economy. We can't create a generation of people who've never had a job.
Indeed, I want to thank you for your time, as you're always making time for us here on the Breakfast Rush and bringing absolutely valuable information to our listeners always. Thank you, and have a wonderful day going forward.
Thank you. You too.
That was Cosatu's Parliamentary Coordinator, Mathew Parks, speaking on what is becoming more and more alarming as each day goes by. And as he puts it, 4 in 10 South Africans are unemployed. 4 in 10 South Africans cannot find work. The amount of people that have just gone and said, I give up. I can't find a job. I've been trying for so long. I want to do something else, which is why at the beginning of the show, I posed this question to you. What is it that you and I can do, or those folks that are listening can do, to supplement their income? Maybe a second stream or a third stream if they already have a job that's not helping them to make ends meet. What ideas do you have to make a little bit of money on the side? What can we do? Aunties will come and say, make some roti, make a few samosas. Lovely, lovely. What else can we do? You hear of people saying very, very often, I've got 2 jobs. I've got 3 jobs.
Yeah.
I'm working in 2 different places, 3 different places. You'll hear somebody saying, you know what? I had like $200 left and I had no idea what to do. So I went out, I bought a few sausages, a few rolls. I fried it, put them together, and I sold it. Made a little bit of money, bought a little bit more, and rolled it over.
Yeah.
You know, now you got a sausage roll company.
So I spoke to someone recently, and she basically bought some cake ingredients. So whatever you need to prepare some little cakes and to bake some little pies.
Right.
And she sold them all. And that's how she survives.
There you go.
She feeds her kids with that money. She pays her rent with it.
So what ideas do you have to supplement income? Go for it. Send us your answers on 060-904-1056. We're looking forward to hearing from you.
The Breakfast Rush, brought to you courtesy of the Willow Tin Group, at the forefront of innovation, and one of the leading